Hi, I'm Sonia Frota from the University of Lisbon, and I'll be presenting our work, Prosody Facilitates Word Segmentation in Infants at Risk for Language Impairment. Word segmentation is the ability to identify individual words from speech. This is a challenge because speech is continuous. Studying early word segmentation is critical since this ability plays a crucial role in language acquisition. Namely, segmentation abilities in the first year have been reported to be associated with larger expressive vocabulary in the second year of life. Segmentation abilities in typical developing infants have also been shown to vary across languages, and recently they have been reported to be modulated by prosodic structure. Specifically, words at prosodic edges are segmented earlier than in utterance medial positions. To our knowledge, there are only 2 studies on segmentation abilities in infants at risk for language impairments, both studying preterm infants, and these studies have presented mixed findings. In the current study, we look at early segmentation abilities in European Portuguese learning infants at risk for language impairment. Specifically, we look at 2 groups of at-risk infants, premature birth and familial risk for autism or language disorder. We have 2 main goals: to examine whether prosody facilitated word segmentation, as previously shown for typical developing infants in Butler and Frota 2018, where it was found that early segmentation for prosodic edge is present from 4 months of age. But segmentation abilities were shown for prosodic edge only because segmentation at utterance medial position is still developing by 10 months of age. As lexical acquisition seems to be delayed in at-risk infants, we further asked whether prosody modulated the relation between segmentation abilities and lexical knowledge. If similar mechanisms or trajectories guide word segmentation in at-risk infants, we might expect a similar pattern of results, but possibly delayed. 21 infants and toddlers participated in our study, with ages between 6 and 26 months. 8 of these babies were preterm babies. 9 of these babies were preterm babies, and there were other 9 that had familial risk for autism or language disorder, and 3 other showed other risk factors. The stimuli that we used were the same as in Butler and Frota. We used 4 monosyllabic pseudo words with the structure consonant-vowel-consonant or consonant-vowel glide. 2 passages were constructed for each word, 1 for each prosodic condition: medial, this is the less prominent position of the target word, and utterance edge final position, and this is the prosodically prominent position of the target word. There were also 4 word lists that were made from different spoken exemplars, and you may find both the stimuli and respective sound files at this website. We used the same procedure as Butler and Frota, so infants were familiarized with passages containing 2 of the pseudo words and then tested with isolated familiar and novel word forms. Segmentation abilities are demonstrated by any consistent difference in looking times to familiar and unfamiliar word forms. To measure concurrent language abilities, we used the European Portuguese version of the CDI short forms. Now, the results. We found evidence for segmentation. In particular, we found evidence for segmentation only in edge position. Given the wide age range of our babies, we looked at age effects. And we found no effects of age, whether we consider two age groups, younger and older, following the CDI age range, or whether we considered age as a continuous variable. Next, we examined whether segmentation abilities were correlated with language skills. We found that segmentation abilities correlated with receptive vocabulary. More looks to edge were correlated with better receptive vocabulary. By contrast, more looks to medial correlated with lower receptive vocabulary. We then compared at-risk and typical developing babies. We found an effect of condition, but no interaction. Finally, we compared the two main groups of at-risk babies, those with familial risk and those that were born preterm. Again, we found an effect of condition and no interaction. So, again and again, we found the same pattern, showing segmentation only at the prosodic edge. In conclusion, Prosody facilitated word segmentation in at-risk babies, and this finding is in line with previous findings for typical developing infants. At-risk babies successfully segmented at the prosodic edge only, and we provided the first evidence for consonant-vowel-consonant or consonant-vowel glide segmentation for at-risk babies. Although they followed the typical developmental path, there was no emergence of segmentation in medial position yet, and this strongly suggests that segmentation abilities are delayed in the at-risk group. Our second finding was that prosody modulated the relation between segmentation abilities and lexical knowledge, demonstrating a link between segmentation abilities and language acquisition that had not yet been found for at-risk infants. In future research, we plan to explore the implications of our findings for language acquisition, as well as remediation and intervention strategies, and we also plan to further focus on subgroups of at-risk babies. Thank you so much for watching.